This has been a presentation of HBO Sports.
Ryan O'Neal is the mastermind whose hot summer is cooled off with a heist of green ice, a cache of emeralds belonging to Omar Sharif. Next. This is HBO. The following motion picture has been rated PG by the Motion Picture Association of America. Parental guidance is suggested. You're watching HBO. George C. Scott is the loner forced to open his heart to the sons he abandoned and the woman he never stopped loving. Islands in the Stream, next.
In the spectacular Rocky Mountain wilderness, one man found peace of mind as he adopted nature's gentle, simple way of life. There was a special bond between him and the animals of the forest. They accepted him as a friend and protector, as one of their own. He lived in the rugged wilds alone. But when danger called, he was there. Dan Haggerty as Grizzly Adams, Legend of the Wild.
Tomorrow on HBO.
What made you choose Bear Island?
I've never been there.
On an island of ice in the North Atlantic, an expedition of scientists stumble upon a lost element of history that will change or end their lives.
What is this?
That's the no-go line. If you stay this side of it, you get shot.
Somewhere beneath the frozen earth lies the key to revitalize the darkest period of our century.
The orders are quite specific and not to be disobeyed.
And the force behind it is among them.
The other Nazi who controls them is codenamed Zelda, identity unknown, but is a member of the expedition.
Has to be either Lashinsky or Garan.
Donald Sutherland, Vanessa Redgrave, Richard Widmark, Bear Island. Thursday.
Spend an evening in Vegas with the electrifying music of the Commodores.
Las Vegas, do you remember this one?
Sail on the rising tide of their musical magic.
Sail on down the line. Funny how the time can go. Friends say they told me so, but doesn't matter. Oh yeah. Yes, you once, you twice, 3 times, lady.
Enjoy the super hit sounds of the Commodores in Concert. Friday.
We're getting out of here!
This is the story of an ordinary family who leave it all behind to begin again in a place untouched by man, a place that shows them a beauty they've never seen, teaches them a respect they've never learned.
We're gonna have to let it go when they get bigger, you know that.
No, not my finger.
and tests them to the limits of their endurance. Share their story and follow the adventures of the Wilderness family. Tomorrow on HBO.
This is no ordinary murder mystery, and these are no ordinary detectives. Oh, my gosh. This is no ordinary killer.
All right, hold it right there. Gun, give me your gun.
Well, will the murderer be found before the suspects become victims?
Got that message? Better send it off to the yard and let them know we're here.
Who will be next? Tim Conway is the dim-witted Dr. Todd. And Don Knotts is the inept Inspector Winship. Tripping step by step through the #1 whodunit, The Private Eyes.
Thursday on HBO.
Circle of Two, an unusual love story.
I don't want to go to school. I don't want to go home. I just want to be with you.
Her gift to him is her youth. His gift to her is his knowledge of the past.
I'll reintroduce myself. My name is Ashley St. Clair. I'm a painter, and I'm 60 years old.
I don't care.
I'm 60!
I wouldn't care if you were in a wheelchair. I love you.
Sarah.
My God, Sarah, he's old enough to be your father. He's old enough to be your father.
You are a disgusting old...
Don't you talk to him like that.
Sarah?
Let me out! Sarah! Out! Let go!
A circle of love that jealous outsiders tried hard to destroy.
I thought she was just a kid.
She is.
Will you leave her alone? She's only a child.
Richard Burton, Tatum O'Neal, Circle of Two. Friday.
Enjoy 24-hour-a-day entertainment here on HBO.
The following motion picture has been rated PG by the Motion Picture Association of America. Parental guidance is suggested.
Next, an incredible performance by the top rhythm and blues superstar. Get set for 60 exciting minutes of Teddy Pendergrass in concert. Next on HBO.
There's a wealth of great movies in October as HBO goes first class with Arthur, the Madcap Millionaire, hot-bellied heroes off to fight a war, Madam Justice battling in court, the scorching South, the frozen North, erotic suspense, wildlife adventure, and a harvest of horror on Halloween. But first, here's Arthur.
Would the more attractive of you please step forward?
It's going to cost you $100.
Let's make it $200, but I will ask you to simonize my car.
Screwball, yes, but can he give up millions to marry her?
Usually one must go to a bowling alley to meet a woman of your stature.
I take it this bum will be calling you.
Dad, he's a millionaire.
You have my permission to marry him.
Dudley Moore is Arthur.
How rich are you?
I wish I had a dime for every dime I have.
Then the president appoints a woman.
A woman?
To the Supreme Court.
Great. It'll be fun.
It's Mathau versus Clayburgh.
How obscene, how outrageous.
Censorship is an outrage.
In the first Monday in October.
The men on this court have got to stick together. After all, there are only 8 of us left against all of her.
A special mission needs special men. But no Nazi captain ever faced an enemy like the Calcutta Light Horse.
You're talking about a mixed bag of boozing, middle-aged, pot-bellied businessmen.
Oh, God, I'm dying.
Little thin on top and thick in the middle, but I guarantee you, every one of those fellows would pull his own weight.
David Niven, Roger Moore. Underneath all that sheep's clothing, they were the Sea Wolves.
I have just survived against all possible odds. I can take care of myself.
Ellen Burstyn, Tom Skerritt. It was his dream, but she made it real. Carving a life in love from the silence of the North.
I ain't giving up, Olive.
I'm not giving up either.
Summer burned on while he waited for something to happen. Finally, she did.
You're not too smart, are you? I like that in a man.
When it gets hot, people try to kill each other.
When the temperature rises, the suspense begins. Kathleen Turner. William Hurt in Body Heat.
Why do you call it the mark?
Worn through the ages by scholars, mystics, and kings, by men and women, it's the symbol of fascination, of seduction, and terror.
Oh, my God.
Maud Adams, Bruce Dern in Tattoo. On the last night in October, you'd better not find yourself at home alone, because coming up is more of the night he came home. And then in November, the good times and bad times of Ragtime. October is a harvest of movies on HBO.
I remember that headline, 63, for one brief shining moment.
This month, HBO audiences will have the opportunity to see a new and original production of Lerner and Loewe's acclaimed musical drama, Camelot. Camelot is the story of a king who had a dream to see his magical kingdom rise, if only for one brief shining moment. But the story of how this particular production came into being is the story of another man's dream, and the story of a cast and crew whose dedication to that dream carried them through many arduous months of production. To learn more of this story behind the story of Camelot, we spoke to its star, Richard Harris.
Originally, when this production was conceived, it was conceived as a touring company with Richard Burton. The same producers conceived the Rex Harrison, My Fair Lady. And therefore, they couldn't afford to have elaborate sets. But in the home box office production, Marty Callner, the director, decided that they needed far more.
We spoke to director Marty Callner.
I had this dream that we could present theater on this medium and not use any of the special effects that are used on television or film. These are all theater effects. It was a big job because in order to do the type of effects that would read on this screen to make them theatrical, it took an enormous amount of time and money.
He told me how he was going to do it. It sounded very exciting. Normally what they do is they stick 5 cameras down on the audience and just shoot 5 or 6 shows and cut them together, but he actually shot this like a movie.
It's an experiment. It's a bold experiment.
What a magnificent dilemma!
I say it was a dream because I didn't know if I could pull it off, was to be able to combine it in such a way that you would be sitting in the front row at a Broadway house.
I really didn't think it was possible to do what he intended to do, but if a guy has a dream, you know, you get into it. You don't step outside and try and wake him up. You get in there and you entice him into sleep so he can dream more.
I wonder what the king is doing tonight. What merriment is the king pursuing tonight? The candles at the court, they never burned as bright. I wonder what the king is up to.
It's also better than the movie. In the movie, Lancelot and Guinevere consummate their love. And as soon as they do that, they lose the respect of the audience because Arthur is such a almost selfless man, perfectly sort of a unique man. In the 1980s, to have such a man, he probably would be committed to an asylum for being so selfless and so caring for other people. With us, We stick to the purity of it. They don't consummate the love at all. They resist it. And therefore, by resisting it, the other two are equally as good and equally as important.
Bewitched by you so. Oh, no, not in spring.
I also had this dream because Camelot was the American play, and I remember in 1963 when Kennedy was killed, and the headline said, "For one brief shining moment." I'd never forgotten that, and I felt a big responsibility to Camelot, so I wanted this play to continue to live on, so I tried to do things that were extremely special. This can be the way Broadway could look and should look and be felt. Also, I wanted to make it a fairy tale, which it wasn't, had not been presented in that way. And then we changed all the costumes to make them brighter, and we changed all the effects. A scene in which Merlin is finally bewitched to death by this nymph called Nimue. We brought in a laser team from New York and California and created a tunnel of death with the laser. It took 2 days to shoot the scene, and it took 350 people. And nobody in the theater could look at the light because it would blind them. We used 18 different types of smoke, 40,000 pounds of dry ice to create the magic forest and to create the effects behind Arthur and Lancelot and Guinevere to give it the feeling of a war scene at times. It was such a tremendous undertaking to try and do this on Broadway that finally the cast and the crew put a little sign in the back door that said, "Camelot Hostages, Day 13. I'll never forget it as long as I live.
Why did you teach me how to think?
For our point of view, purely from an egotistical point of view, it's marvelous to have it on record forever. I mean, wouldn't we love to sit down tonight and see John Gielgud's Hamlet, to have a look at it again? From an artistic point of view and from a creative point of view, it's even more magical, because we're going to get the chance of doing the big plays, the big roles, in a wonderful atmosphere, a theatrical atmosphere shot like a film. I mean, it's absolutely, for an actor, it's unbelievable.
My God, Excalibur, I shall be a king. This is the time of King Arthur, and we shall reach for the stars. This is the time of King Arthur, when violence is not strength and compassion is not weakness. We are civilized.
So it's a new play. It's a new Camelot.
A new Camelot. For one man, it's a dream. For another, a labor of love. For its producers, cast and crew, and perhaps for the entire industry, it is a milestone in the developing craft of adapting the special magic of the stage to the technology of television. And for viewers at home, when measured against the long history of many such attempts, it may well be one brief shining moment.
Comes the fall, and HBO Specials are on October location. From the famed New York club that has encouraged talented newcomers for years.
What a thrill it is to be here at the 10th anniversary of Catch a Rising Star.
Richard Belzer, Pat Benatar, David Brenner, Billy Crystal, Gabe Kaplan, Andy Kaufman, Joe Piscopo, and Robin Williams. Catch a Rising Star's 10th anniversary celebration. Straight. Are you up for all-night radio?
Yesteryear is gone.
It was the worst of times. 15 million Americans were out of work.
The only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
There was a World's Fair in Chicago and enough outlaws elsewhere to keep the G-men busy. Join Dick Cavett for a timeless journey back to yesteryear, 1933.
It's no good to live in your dreams.
Tuesday Weld.
It's no good to live outside of them either.
Tommy Lee Jones. The Rainmaker.
Well, the fact is, fella, we just don't believe in rainmakers.
What do you believe in?
An HBO Theater exclusive. Switch over to all-night radio. Then, HBO Magazine goes to press with a cover story on Dudley Moore.
I want you to know I haven't said a word in this interview yet, Ron.
A feature on middleweight champion Marvin Hagler, and behind-the-scenes coverage of the Catch a Rising Star salute. Dick Cavett hosts this new monthly series. Next, because money isn't an easy matter, which is your best season to hunt for bargains? And just how good a bet are franchises? Money Matters is a practical guide to sensible spending. Then, Crystal Gale, an HBO exclusive. Enjoy the specials this fall on HBO.
Next, when a member of the police organized crime unit is killed by the mob, the chief vows revenge at any cost. Frank Sinatra stars in Contract on Cherry Street next.
This is HBO.